Hang on, there you go. Better unmute myself. Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. Good to see a few of you up and at it. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Gumi, how are you? Good morning to you. Fantastic to see you. Aaron, morning, mate. Mick, Luke, how are you, mate? Good to see you. Hope you're good, folks. Hope you're good. Do some quick intros while we're sort of letting things warm up. Everyone joining us on the live this morning, welcome along. If you don't already know, most of you do though. Jason Witten's my name. That is something most of our people who've been here a while know. But if you're brand new, let us know where you are hanging out in this wonderful day, terrific Tuesday. Let us know. Good morning, Connie. Good to see you there. We do this little thing called the Wealth Coffee Chat each morning around about 10 past 8. Been doing it for a while now, and each morning we just connect for about 15 to 20 minutes, talk about what's going on out there in the world of property investing, stay on track as property investors because often it takes a little bit of focus to stay on track. You don't want to get distracted because property investing and creating wealth with your portfolio takes some time, folks. We've got a couple of sayings around here. You guys know the drill. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time to create wealth with residential real estate. That is for sure. Buy well, don't sell. Buy a damn fine property and keep it, folks. And that's what this show's dedicated to. Many of the listeners are in our coaching and mentoring program for building their portfolio. And so welcome along. Good to see you. I've been property investing well over 20 years. Done over 100 property deals myself and helped our clients buy over 10,000 properties along the way. Learnt one or two things, what to do. Plenty of things not to bloody do, I can tell you that. And like to share a few of those with you each morning. So that's the drill, folks. Welcome along, whoever or wherever you are. Rose, good morning to you. Great to see you here. Hey, listen, I thought I would do a little review of last night's mentoring and specifically the Brisbane Olympics part. And good morning, Jay. For some of the listeners, they can't make the evening show. And I thought the short but absolutely amazing conversation with John last night about the infrastructure and what's going on in Brisbane and probably more specifically about Southeast Queensland. What's coming for us, folks, or what's coming? If you're an investor, if you're a property owner in Southeast Queensland, hang on to your hats, folks. It's a slingshot ride to the Olympics. And, there's plenty of evidence showing us, plenty of information, plenty of data, plenty of money being invested on our behalf. Matter of fact, folks, the amount of money being invested in this neck of the woods, folks, is absolutely astounding. So I thought we would touch base on that this morning. But who was here last night? There was a couple of you here from last night. I know that there was one or two at mentoring last night. I know Luke was there. I saw you in the chat, Luke. But who was there from last night? Let us know. But the idea, yeah, Luke was there and Rose was there. That's right. I saw you, Rose. A few of you there, but maybe a few of you weren't. And if you weren't, then you missed out. Kumi was there. Right, you missed out on some great information. So I thought maybe we should talk about it this morning because Sonny was there too. Because it's just stuff that's almost run of the mill at the moment. You kind of go, oh yeah, but it's unbelievable, folks, what's going on. So I thought I'd sort of update and maybe do a little rehash of last night's conversation. The infrastructure, what's going on in Brisbane, more specifically Southeast Queensland. What are we now? So 2032 is the Olympics. We are in 2023, so and pretty close to the end of 23, folks. So we're probably what are we thinking? We're an 8-year shot. This is a cycle. This is a property cycle, and probably a good elongated, very interesting property cycle to be part of. All right, up in Southeast Queensland, get a piece of the action, folks. Let's have a look at this. And what have we got going on in Southeast Queensland? There's John there. Terrible snapshot of his head. But anyway, thanks, John, for the data, for the info. $94 billion in infrastructure and key projects in Queensland. Imagine that, folks. Imagine, you go, all right, it'd be nice if there was something, near where I was buying a property or whatever, but there's $94 billion. $94 billion. And interestingly, John was talking about last night, what are the two kind of high investment, but also high income bits of infrastructure that are being constructed in Queensland? He was saying that there was 13, I don't know, I think it was 12 or 13 of these over the next 8 years. What was it, folks? Can anyone remember? Luke, Rose, call me Sonny. Can you remember the two parts of infrastructure that were being invested in pretty significantly? And those bits of infrastructure bring lots of jobs and high-paying jobs. And if you're familiar with this saying, med, the education and medical stuff, education and medical precinct. A lot of transport as well, Rose, for sure. Huge amounts of transport and highways. But the EdMed, $9.7 billion. So $10 billion of new hospitals, hospital expansions, right? Absolutely amazing when it comes to that stuff. And that's kind of like, the highest, the highest job creating stuff as well, like long-term job creation. Yeah, stack of hospitals. So, if we build 13 hospitals, the jobs off the back of that are huge. Some of the construction projects kind of are, let's say, short term, let's build a road and there's jobs for the moment. And then later on, there's not jobs to build the road anymore. But a lot of the stuff, health and medical, absolutely unbelievable, which is pretty amazing, pretty cool. However, folks, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunny Coast, Queensland in general, $94 billion in the run-up to something that's pretty special, which is the Olympics as well, right? So $7 billion in here, 7 billion of the 94. You're thinking, oh, how much of that is the Olympics? Well, 7 billion or thereabouts probably cost 14 billion, right? Which government's run a project and brought it in on budget? None of them ever, all right? But anyway, here we go. So huge stuff, folks. What else is going on in Queensland? Well, the unemployment is the lowest on records. And if we have a look at what's going on here, is there going to be jobs in Queensland? Is it going to be a tight labour market? The answer is yes. Why does a tight labour market, why does that matter to us, folks? Tell us in the chat. What does that do for us? If we own real estate, what does that do for us? If there's plenty of jobs, what's the benefit for us? Tell me in the chat. Because at the end of the day, all of this stuff needs to be interpreted into us having a benefit or understanding it could benefit us or supports our property investing. And dollars, absolutely. And dollars probably in the form of rent often, Kumi, especially if people are traveling interstate or coming for overseas, more competition for housing. People have got jobs. They feel more confident to take a mortgage and they'll pay more to buy a house. You're dead right, Luke. So what is that going to do? That's going to drive our prices. That's going to support what we do. The challenge right now, and it's an interesting one, and this is Australia-wide. Yep, rentals needed. Absolutely, Connie. This is Australia-wide right now, is saying, all right, we're about 500,000, we're about 500,000 people short on filling some of these jobs, the total number of workers required to do some stuff around here, right? And I don't know about you, tell me in the chat if you've felt this, if you're, in a business or you're somewhere, you're working somewhere and, it's difficult to get enough people to do all the work and do the jobs. And that's a challenge. What does that do? Well, that's going to keep employment high. It's going to keep a bit of competition in the market. And also it's motivating the government to do certain things. Now, I don't think they've handled any of this bloody well, but rock and a hard place, right? They need to get some people into the country to do some of the work we need done. And the challenge is that they ruined the damn. And John said this last night. I've been saying it forever as well, folks. Like, immigration, exactly, got me. Our supply issues started a long time ago. It wasn't COVID. And you guys know, I've said this for ages. But, what's happening here, we have a net overseas migration, pretty significant when it comes to, pretty significant when it comes to the amount of population growth Australia has been able to, do in the last little bit. But check this out. I saw this one last night, and it was like crazy. Our largest ever recorded migration entry to Australia in 1 year. Largest ever in our history. 386,971 folks in migration, and by and large, 99% of those people who entered the country brought money, brought jobs and skills, and we're still, folks, according to HIA, quite short when it comes to the labour market. And it's interesting when you have a look at, this stuff up here. Right now we've got one vacant job for every, unemployed person. So really, at the end of the day, by and large, we've got enough jobs for kind of everyone in the country if they wanted to work or whatever. So who knows? But at the end of the day, what's going on for Queensland and what's the straight shot? What's the slingshot to the Olympics, folks? Yeah, dead right, Luke. Yeah, it's an interesting meeting point of a bunch of things that, where if you're in the right position as an investor, a property owner, you should get a pretty good benefit from financially if you can keep your costs, handleable. I don't know if you can handle the cost. That wasn't right. That wasn't good English, was it? Okay. That wasn't great English. Anyway, not enough coffee this morning. Handle the costs and expenses, and you'll get the reward, basically, folks. And along the way, if you need some help and some coaching, that's what the team do. So make sure you reach out to them. But listen, Queensland has been receiving a pretty good, if not top-notch piece of the action when it comes to the interstate migration and the direct overseas migration also. The largest increase in the country when it comes to the net interstate migration. We're winning, folks. We're winning by a long shot. And not only that, then we add the direct migration from overseas into Queensland as well. That's pretty damn fine. Wow. It's pretty hard because the state now is sort of bursting at the seams. Like, all right, well, let's add some infrastructure. Let's add some properties. Let's do this thing, right? So, at the end of the day, that benefits Queensland. And, we're talking about that, a straight shot to the Olympics. Not only have we got, $94 billion of only $7 billion are the Olympics. We've got interstate migration, which is huge. Direct migration, which again is big. And Western Australia doing okay, but nowhere near Queensland at this point in time. Okay, which is great. And if you have a look at, let's say, Brisbane and Gold Coast, the vacancy rate is low. So, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but it was great to see this information, this data lining up like an absolute no-brainer, folks. No-brainer. And check it out. I mean, the vacancy rates, nearly every place is under 1.5%. Like, that's just mad. That's just mad. But anyway, good news for us as investors and big shortfalls, right? And, John said it last night. I said it as well. When the government did the trifecta of absolute brain dead, chasing people out of the country, so they chased away foreign investment money for development. Listen, if you don't have money, then you can't develop properties. And so then the government says, "Oh, we don't want." We haven't got enough money ourselves, right? They haven't got enough money themselves. And so we had some investment from overseas, creating some actual damn supply in the country. And they're like, "Oh, we don't want that." What a bunch of rubbish, right? And now what happened? It's been a 6-year decline, of which COVID made it worse, but it wasn't. It was already declining, right? Because by and large, folks, whether we like this or not, Australia does not have enough money to build its own infrastructure. And, the government's useless. Anyway, I'm going to get distracted here. Save this one for a rant for another day. Anyway, there's a large shortfall. It is not going to be solved anytime soon in the world of dwellings, right? Southeast Queensland dwellings. And it's going to continue, unfortunately, to decline. 58% decline in this, and 44% decline in all types of dwellings. And the dwellings that you can supply the market with the fastest, folks, which are the apartments, are the medium density stuff, apartments and townhouses, right? So they're the ones you can supply fast or faster than houses. It's expensive. The banks won't get behind them. the councils and the governments get in the way of it. They charge ludicrous fees to build apartments and townhouses, right? The gouge is 30 to 40% of the cost, not the land, but the cost of building an apartment or a house or whatever is in government fees. This is the big bullshit lie that they carry on about. Oh, make it cheaper. Well, stop gouging it, you bloody muppets. Anyway, a bit wound up this morning. So what does that mean, though? What it all means is that as we roll into the Olympics, folks, in Brisbane, there's certainly an opportunity. If we look at a case study, John finished with this. I'll finish with this morning. Prior to the Olympics, there was capital growth, pretty consistent. We've already had that right now in Brisbane. Everyone's been talking about it. We get to the Olympics, and then after that, there was a significant amount of growth. This was out of Sydney as well. So, if that's anything to go on, if you haven't got yourself a piece of Brisbane, the Brisbane or the Southeast Queensland market, folks, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, then maybe you should. And if you've got one, maybe a second one wouldn't go astray. This market's got a lot going for it. Certainly got lifestyle attractiveness when it comes to, the lifestyle. So, have a think about what and where you might buy your next investment. All right. Well, that's it from me this morning, folks. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. It's always good to rehash and re-examine some information, because I always like to, let it land. Where's it landing, right? Brisbane and Queensland have got a lot going on, and and maybe it's rose-colored glasses, and you got to always sort of have a look at your biases, but really at the end of the day, where's the downside, folks? Where's the downside for Brisbane, Southeast Queensland right now? Where is it? I'm struggling to find it, other than something that I don't particularly control, right? Maybe some political madman or mad woman or mad person, whatever we want to say. But, by and large, it's lined up for an absolute cracking run to the Olympics. Everyone wants it. The government wants it. The population wants it. The world wants it. Brisbane's going to be catapulted onto the world stage. And believe me, you want to get a little bit of that limelight as we go, with 94 billion all the way to the Olympics in 8 years. There you go. Anyway, folks. Yep. That's right, Luke. We're just looking at some facts, and they line up. They line up, folks. Anyway, there you go. I'm done and dusted this morning. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. Thanks, Marcus. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, everyone, for jumping on this morning. Great to see you all here. And join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat if you're up for it. We do it each day. You guys know the drill, about 10 past 8. Until then, folks, you guys take care. Be awesome. Bye for now.